Hello, I'm Niklas Lenström, and welcome to this presentation on controversial issues and their role in RE, or religious education. In the non-confessional Swedish school subject religious education, teachers regularly address sensitive questions, for instance concerning pupils' convictions, which sometimes can be regarded as controversial issues. There are no generally accepted definition of controversial issues in the research literature. Different characterizations, however, contain what might be described as emotional, cognitive, and evaluative elements. This means that controversial issues are something that individuals or groups tend to disagree on, where it's possible to provide conflicting explanations, and where solutions often are based on different values. The fact that many RE teachers work in schools characterized by pluralism and multiculturalism increases the challenge of reaching mutual understanding between pupils and groups. Hence, the overall purpose of this paper is to discuss a minor web survey of which issues RE teachers in secondary school consider to be controversial and how they handle them in the classroom. And therefore, I will discuss A, if controversial issues can be understood as topics that challenge or violate the prevailing ideals, norms, and values in a given context, and B, if the teacher's strategies tend to decrease or increase such value conflicts. Theoretical background. In order to discuss if the controversial issues RE teachers face in the secondary school can be interpreted as value conflicts, we will use the distinction between individualist and collectivist values. Individualist values, on the one hand, are characterized by individual rights being perceived as more important than obligation to others. These values are predominant in secular societies and tend to emphasize autonomy and self-realization. Collectivist values, on the other hand, are characterized by obligation towards others being perceived as more important than individual rights. These values are predominant in religious societies and tend to emphasize common beliefs, practices, and goals. This distinction can provide a picture of which values that are considered important in different contexts, but also give an indication of which questions that are likely to challenge the majority view, divide people, and become controversial. This point is particularly relevant since Sweden, according to extensive international studies, is the most secular country in the world. In previous studies, researchers have identified different strategies teachers use to deal with controversial issues in the classroom. Stradling, for instance, found that educators often try to act neutral, balance different views, play the devil's advocate, ally with marginalized pupils, or support the official line. How teachers choose to organize their activities through different routines and working methods have also been highlighted as consequential for which values that are reproduced in teachings. Thus, the way in which teachers treat controversial issues can contribute to increase or decrease value conflicts in the classroom and make some rather than other issues controversial. Method. A web survey consisting of open-ended and closed questions was designed in order to investigate which issues RE teachers in secondary school considered to be controversial and how they state that they deal with them in their pedagogical practice. The teachers were briefed of the general purpose and invited to participate in the study under the condition that they could discontinue at any time. The analysis of the answers was based on an open coding of words, phrases, and expressions that recurred in the empirical material. Some of these were possible to identify as overarching themes, for instance, Islam or ethics, and other more specific answers were related to them, for instance, the veil debate or animal rights. The discussion as to whether the controversial issues could be interpreted in terms of conflicts between individualist and collectivist values, and whether teachers' strategies contributed to increase or decrease any possible value conflicts, were primarily based on the theoretical background. It is important to emphasize that the purpose of this investigation is not to draw general conclusions about RE teachers, but to use a mainly qualitative material in order to track tendencies within the group. Result and discussion. 1. RE teachers were asked to state the controversial issues they deal with in their teaching, and their answer can be categorized in 3 themes. First, conflicts. The participants stated they dealt with controversial issues related to conflicts regarding, for instance, interpretations of religions, religious conflicts, and religiosity and atheism. Second, they also considered Islam in general as a controversial issue. The participants stated that they treated issues related to, for instance, the Beale debate, honor culture, or oppression. Third, the participants regarded issues concerning moral or ethics as controversial in RE. Again, the teachers specified their answers with issues related to, for instance, sexuality, abortion, euthanasia, animal rights, and capital punishment. What appeared to be controversial in an individualistic secular context can be understood as issues that challenge the prevailing values within the community. Issues that seemingly relate to incompatible beliefs or truth claims, such as whether or not to have religious belief, is also something that may violate an implicit secular norm which the pupils may not be aware of and is difficult to discover. Result and discussion 2. The participants were also asked to indicate which strategies they use to deal with controversial issues in the teaching, and given an opportunity to justify their choices. A majority of the teachers stated that they try to uphold balance in the classroom, or to act neutral chairman between different views. These approaches can contribute to convey individualist values such as free choice and individual responsibility. Hence, by not taking a position, the teacher may nevertheless convey a set of values. At the same time, RE teachers seem to avoid strategies that could promote collectivist values as solidarity and common cultural heritage. Only 15% of the participants ally with marginalized groups, for instance. Concluding remark. What appears to be controversial within individualist secular context can be understood as issues that challenges the prevailing values within the community. The fact that teachers to a large extent strive, for instance, for balance and neutrality in teaching seems to contribute to convey individualist values to the pupils who are expected to make independent decisions and take responsibility for their choices. This means that they risk reinforcing the predominant individualist values and contribute to continue to construct collective values as controversial in education. Thank you for your attention. This is the end of the presentation.